Hello, everyone. Good evening. This is the Lena here. I'm sure we are live. We're ready to go this evening. All right, let me quickly send a message to the Telegram before we start. Okay, so we're going to have a quick one in the next 30 minutes. We're going to be out of here. So this evening, we're going to be talking about the power, the polar opposites in life, the polar roles in life, sorry. The polar roles in life. Let me show my face. All right. Good evening. I hope the music by the background is not too loud. Please, if you can hear me, put in the comment section that you can hear me clearly so that we go ahead. Okay, let's go ahead. So what do I mean by what do I mean by the polar roles in life? First of all, I want to say to you that I'm excited to come, to you with this topic. I was not planning to do any teaching, but of course, this has been on my mind for quite a long time. So I had to bring it to you. The polar roles in life, the differentiating power of understanding. Right, so let's go into the heart of the matter. I'm going to be using my slide, but I will not use it too often. I can take it off so easily, right? Because I want to be able to explain this concept. Okay, so in this short period of time, we're going to learn the polar roles in life. We're going to talk about understanding the key to changing these roles in life. We're going to talk about what understanding is, and then I'll give you my heartfelt message to you, and then we'll talk about the way to understanding. These are what we're going to do in this short period of time that we will stay together. Okay, so let's go ahead. So the polar roles in life. Here's a quotation by myself that will give a context to what we are going to be talking about in this particular teaching. And it says, if life is a drama, and then God is the script writer. If life is a drama, God is the script writer, and then men are the actors. God designs the roles, man chooses which to play. So I said here that there are two roles in life. Polar is basically a scientific term that means two options, two different ends. So it's either negative or positive. It's either up or down. It's either back or front. So polar is more like a scientific word for having two options. So in life, that there are basically two roles. And I'm saying that if life were to be a drama, a movie, then God is the script writer. He's the one who determines the roles that will be played in this movie, the scenes. But who determines who acts what? Who determines who becomes what? It's the actors. In a normal movie, the script writer decides the movie. He also decides the actors. But in this case, with the drama of life, God just writes the script. Man decides amongst the written script, this is what I want to play. So there are two polar roles in life. There's always the greats, there's always the not so great. There's always the rich, there's always the poor. Anywhere, anytime in life, there's definitely two, of these options. Now, there are basically two positions also in life. So just like there are two roles you could either play. There's the same way there are two positions you could either take in life. There are two places you could either be. If you are not rich, you are poor. If you are not wise, obviously you are foolish. If you are not playing the role of the leader, you are playing the role of the follower automatically. If you are not in this, you are in the order. So there are fundamentally two categories of people in life, right? We're talking about the polar roles in life, the two places and two positions that exist in life, two places that people could either find themselves in life. So there are those who, recognize times, they recognize seasons quickly, and they take proper actions before it is too late. And on the other hand, you have the other set of people who just stay unaware of anything that's going on around them, and then they exist in this ignorance and stagnancy. They exist in insecurity until predicaments happen to them. In other words, there are some people that make things happen, and there are some people that stay for things to happen to them. In life, you just must have any of these two. You must have a person playing either this role or playing the other role. There are those who have this firm grasp on the trends, they understand the seasons, the progress, and then they flow with the trend. There are also those who aren't aware, who will never be aware about trends or patterns, so they let trends to push them out of place in life or in business. There are those that if changes is taking place or change is happening, they easily adapt and they survive. And there are those who will never adapt, and therefore they die. There are those who are intellectually deep. There are those who are intellectually shallow. There are those who recognize opportunities very quickly. There are those who don't. There are those who cash in on a particular train, and there are those who don't. They are just two polar opposites in any situation in life, in any time in life. So there are those who have, and there are those who have not. There's the rich and there's the poor. So let's go ahead. What is the key to changing your roles in life? What's the key to changing the position in which you stand? So I said there are two groups and there are two positions. The difference between them lies in understanding. That's right. Their understanding. Understanding is everything. So as we talk about the different roles in life, we cannot evade the concept or the subject of understanding, because it is understanding that makes them play each of these roles. It is understanding of these actors, of the men, of people, that makes them play either the role of the rich, the poor, the role of the good, or the bad. It is understanding that makes them play those roles, act those way, or stand in those positions. So what distinguishes people's attitude, what distinguishes their actions, what distinguishes their experience in life? Of course, you know the answer to this now. Why do a few people do very well, do excellently well, go on to become outstanding success in life, achieve one goal to the other, and the other ones are complaining, giving excuses? Of course, you know the answer. The answer to this is understanding. Understanding is what differentiates which of the roles that you play in the polar roles of life. Understanding is what differentiates if either you are up in the cadre of life or you are down. Understanding is the key. It is the key to changing roles. And then understanding is the fundamental differentiator between the fulfilled and the unfulfilled, the haves and the haves not. And that's why we're talking about the differentiating factor of understanding. We're taking understanding here as the key to what differentiates where you stand in the polar roles in life. So a person functions at their level of understanding per time. A person cannot function beyond his understanding. You will always be limited to your level of understanding. So to understand better is to perform better, is to perform a better role, is to stand in a better position. Understanding is the ultimate difference between the people's attitude, their actions, and their conditions, as well as experiences and results in life. That's what we're reading, right? Understanding is the difference between people's experiences and their results in life. So what's there in understanding? What is the power of understanding? It takes understanding to see, it takes understanding to recognize, it takes understanding to realize. You may be having potentials around you, potentials in people, potentials in places, potentials in things that you have. It is understanding that makes you to recognize that first of all you even have this in the first place. When I'm talking about the power of understanding to help you realize, a story comes to mind of a particular person who was gifted with an iPad, right? This woman never understood that what she had was an iPad, and that was what at least 200,000 naira, you know. And then the best she could do was to give it to her baby, and of course, you know what the baby would do with an iPad, a creeping baby. You know, she, you know, after touching and touching, they will scrub this stuff on the floor and use it like that's what somebody did with such an expensive thing, because they can't even recognize it because of lack of understanding. The person never knew what it is. He never had understanding about it, so he never recognized the potentials in it. It takes understanding to differentiate between two things. It takes understanding to differentiate between two people, two timings, two seasons, two moments. It takes understanding to differentiate between what is this and what is that. That's how what understanding can do for you. It takes understanding also to maximize something. Sometimes we may have opportunities, we may have people, we may have gadgets, things that we own. It takes understanding to maximize them. Until you understand the potential and the possibilities of that stuff, you're not going to maximize it to the fullest. It takes understanding to become. It takes understanding to apply and to perform. Let me just chip in this. Whenever you see somebody performing at a different kind of level, whether that you aspire or that you admire, take note of this, that it is an understanding that makes that person to be able to do so. It is understanding that, or lack of understanding, that makes you not to be able to perform just like that person that you aspire to or that you admire. So it takes understanding to be able to become something. It takes understanding to be able to apply, to perform a particular task. You may look at a dancer, you know, he's displaying his skills so easily, but you will not be able to do that until you understand some tricks, some you know, secrets in that art. It takes understanding also to master a particular concept. You want to be a professional in particular stuff, it takes understanding. We are going ahead talking about what understanding can do for you. It takes understanding to obtain a thing. It takes understanding to attain any height. Wherever it is that you want to go in life, whatever it is that you want to do in life, it takes understanding to get there. It takes understanding to start even a thing. It takes understanding to sustain it. Whatever it is that you want to begin, whatever it is that you want to do, to accomplish, the process of beginning that requires understanding. When you finally start, the process of sustaining that requires understanding. It takes understanding to have anything great in life. It takes understanding to walk the talk and to live the experience. I mean, anybody can talk, anybody can understand the theology, anybody can understand the theory, but it takes understanding to put the theory to practice. It takes understanding to bear the desirable fruits. So two people are learning, several people are learning. It takes understanding to produce results based on what you know. Until you have understanding of a knowledge that you possess, you will not produce any tangible result with it. It takes understanding to bear fruits out of what you know. It takes understanding to be wise, right? It takes understanding to be distinguished as a person of wisdom, as a person of discernment and judgment. Finally, it takes understanding to live free and honorable life. Like it's as if success in life, doing anything, making a headway in life is as if it revolves around understanding. Little wonder the psalmist prayed, give me understanding that I may live. He was already living, but he wasn't living the life of fulfillment. He wasn't living the life of his dream. He wasn't expressing and manifesting all his potentials and all that he desired to be. So he cried, give me understanding that I may live. That's how powerful understanding is. Now, there are some scriptures that are very, very pungent to me as it concerns the subject of understanding. One of them is the one that I just mentioned by the psalmist David. He said in Psalm 119, 144, he said, give me understanding so that I may live. This explains the power of understanding. Remember, we're talking about the differentiating power of understanding. It takes understanding to distinguish, to make you distinguish in your place in life. Another scripture says, through understanding, a house is established. Whatever it is that you must build, whatever it is that you must grow, whether it's a business, not just a house, it takes understanding to establish that. Another scripture that comes to mind whenever I talk about the power of understanding, this one, has very, very great meaning to me. It's the one of Proverbs 3:5. It says, with all your getting, get understanding. There are two ways I could interpret this scripture. One is that with everything that you have, make sure you have an understanding of it. So if I have a mobile device, I should make sure that I acquire an understanding of it. If I have a relationship, I should make sure I have understanding with it. Otherwise, I will not maximize it. Another way you can interpret the scripture, which could also be correct, is that it doesn't matter what you get. It doesn't matter what it is you are seeking, what it is you have. Understanding is so vital, you must get it anyways. So the last scripture I'll be sharing with you about that buttresses the power of understanding, guys. And this one explains the polar roles in life. This is where I found this concept in scripture even. And that's the one in Matthew 26:11 that says, the poor you shall always have. We're talking about the polar roles in life, the different place you could stand in life, the different roles you could play in this thing called life. By the way, if life was not designed like that, then I don't know, it couldn't be balanced. I mean, I don't know what kind of world it would look like if everybody is just good. We're not going to know who's bad. I don't know the kind of world we're going to live in. If everybody is just wise, then foolishness will lose its relevance or value. If everybody is just rich, there will be no dread for poverty. So the poor you shall always have. This was Jesus speaking. The poor you shall always have. What comes to mind when I read this is that the poor is a role in life. The poor is a position in life. The poor is a placement in life. So the polar opposite of poor is the rich. So Jesus said, the poor you shall always have. The role of those who are poor shall always be there. And that also means, by deductive thinking, that the rich you shall always have too. Because if you shall always have the poor, you also shall always have the rich, right? If there'll always be the poor, then there'll always be the rich. But the poor here is basically a role. Who is going to be the poor? He didn't say. Who's going to be the poor? He didn't determine. But whether are you going to have poor? You shall always have. That's a role that must be there. The creator of life have set it that way. Jesus, who himself says, I am life, he said so. So the role of the poor, it shall always be there. The role of the rich, it shall always be there. Which one do you become? Which one do you play? Where do you stand? That's your choice. But whether that role is, it shall always be there. So just like you shall always have the rich, the same way you shall always have the poor. I mean, look at it in reality. Go to any nation, even the richest nation in the world. Let's take America. Go to such a country. You will think that you will never find the poor. But go to America, go to countries like Cuba, go to countries like Mexico. You will always find, and in such a great nation as that, they have the poor, quote unquote. So come to third world, right? Come to where the capital of poverty. Come to Nigeria. You go to places like Abuja, you will always find the rich. The places like Lagos, of course, sensible uplands in Lagos, Port Harcourt, you will always find the rich. And then go to slum area of Lagos, you will always find the poor. It's just like that everywhere, anytime, any place in life. This mix is what gives life balance. This mix is what makes life what it is. You just must have this for this to make sense. You must have this for the other to have value. So the poor, that role is definite. The polar opposite, the rich, that's also a definite role. The poor is just as the rich is a role. They are all role. You decide which you play. you decide which of the positions that you stand in. So let's talk about understanding, right? What it means. We've talked about the fact that this concept called understanding is what differentiates or changes your role in life. Your level of understanding or what you understand determines which role you play or where you stay amongst the polar opposite of life. So the word understanding is basically a combination of two words, right? Under and then standing. These two words connotes the foundation of a position. Understanding, the foundation, that's what's under, and the position where you're standing. So understanding is basically the foundation of a person's perspective, the foundation of a person's mental position. It is the cause or the reason for a person's position. What makes him think that way? Understanding. What makes him reason this way? He has a particular understanding. He has a particular foundation, that makes him see this perspective. That's what seeing this light, seeing this perspective. That's what understanding is. Another definition I could give to what understanding is that understanding is insight. Very key word. And the capacity of a person or a thing. So you can't talk about the fact that you have understanding as it concerns a particular thing without having insight into the nature or the character of that thing, what it is made of, what it is made by, the essence of that thing, and then the capacity of that thing. When you have insight into it, when you know what a thing is made of, the essence and the core of a thing, and what the thing can do, you can say you understand that thing. It could be a person too, right? So to understand is to have insight into the core character and fundamental function of a particular thing. This is understanding as it relates to a thing, a property, or somebody. The other one is understanding as it relates to your perspective. So understanding is also the cause of all statements. As a learned and educated person, you must understand that every result has a cause. But you must understand also that understanding is usually the basic cause for almost all statements, almost all actions. That means every action and every statement was guided by a particular understanding, either consciously or unconsciously. That's just the way it is. When a person says something, when a person does something, it stems from and is caused by a particular foundation he has in his mind, a particular insight he has. This is the reason and this is the cause for him saying the things he says and doing the things that he does. Understanding also is the reason why, or the motive behind all action. That's why no one acts without understanding. So provided you have said anything, provided you have done anything, it is because of a particular understanding. So what you don't understand or what you understand is the cause of your position in life. So just like understanding is fundamental position, when you have that internally, it determines your placement, your role externally in life. So if you are in a position of great wealth, it's a result of understanding. And then the opposite, if you're in a position of absolute lack or abject poverty, that's because of a lack of a particular understanding, possibly the understanding of how to make, manage or multiply wealth. That's an understanding that you lack. That's why you are in that placement in life. Understanding is the cause of all positions. Understanding is therefore fundamental to positions. This is the heart of the matter, guys. I have so far been able to tell you that in life, there are polar roles. The Creator made it so. It has been established. It's inextinguishable. We can't remove that from life. And I've also been able to let you know that the difference or the key to changing your roles, to changing which of those roles that you play, is understanding. I've explained the power of understanding and what it could do for you. I've explained that it is the distinguishing factor. It is what differentiates you. It is what catapults you. It is the key to choosing which role you play or position you take in life. So what's my message to you? What's my advice? What's my counsel? How do you bring this to a landing such that it becomes of value to you and you're able to apply it in your life? My heartfelt message for you will be this: dare to be a person of understanding. Remember, there are always two kinds of people: those who lack understanding, those who are foolish; those who have understanding, those who are wise. They know, then they understand what's going on around, and they do what they need to get done. So what I'm saying to you today, my challenge, or the challenge from me to you today, is dare to be a person of understanding. Don't be a person without understanding. I mean, proper understanding. Don't be a person without proper insight about yourself, about what's going on around you, about your business, about your craft, about anything it is that you engage in. Don't be a person of that lacks understanding. Don't be a person that the scripture calls simple. A simple man is a man without the proper understanding. His understanding is bleak, is leaking. His understanding is not proper. Dare to be a person of proper understanding. Dare to be such a person who seeks understanding. Dare to be the one that, will think critically, will ask questions in his mind. Dare to be the one who seeks to be enlightened. Dare to be the one that leads, the one who changes the status quo, the one who strives ahead with change. Dare to be different. That's my message, or the message from me to you. And in this particular advice, I want to leave you with the words of one of my favorite models, my favorite American inspirational speaker and business philosopher of my time. And some of you know him because I've talked about him on this platform, Mr. Jim Rohn. Jim Rohn made the following words. He gave this following statement, which I strongly believe should inspire you to find and keep the path of being outstanding and exceptional. I titled the saying of Jim Rohn, "Let others, not you." He gave the advice that you should be exceptional, and today I'm using his words to give the advice that you should dare to stand out. Many other people may be people of shallow understanding. Stand out, be a person of depth, be a person of proper understanding. So in the words of Jim Rohn, let others live small lives, but not you. Let others argue over small things, but not you. Let others cry over small hurts, but not you. And let others leave their future in someone else's hands, but not you. Let others be oblivious about what's going on around them. Let them not care, but not you. You shouldn't leave that. Let others allow themselves, their destiny to just be decided by change or events or whatever happened. But don't let that happen to you. You want to be proactive. You want to seek to know. You want to be in front. You want to be an upstart. So I wrap up this message in the next 2 minutes by talking about how to understand, or the way to understanding. So if understanding is this key and you're taking on this challenge of becoming a person of understanding, how do you go? First, you have to understand that the beginning of anything and the beginning of everything is interaction. I've done an extensive teaching on the power of interaction. So to have understanding, to gain proper understanding, you must interact with people who do. To gain understanding, you must interact with those who have acquired the understanding that you want to gain. So how do you know those people? There are so many kinds of people. You know them by their results. At the end of the day, guys, listen to this. Result is the proof of understanding. So many a person may say, oh, I understand. I have understanding. I get it. I am clear. I grasp. I understand. But the proof of understanding is not talk. The proof of understanding is not explanation. The proof of understanding is not even profession. The proof that you understand is your result. The proof that you understand is the result that you have bore. If you have not bore any result, you don't understand it. Because remember, it takes understanding to be a result. So if you're seeing anybody doing a particular thing, acting, manifesting, not just talking, not just planning, is already doing, such a person has understanding. It is understanding that makes him to be able to do. It's understanding that makes him to be able to perform. It is understanding that makes the rubber meets the road. So, on your way to understanding, you must find and interact with those who have. If you find them in person, interact with them, and you're going to gain the fundamental insights that they have, fundamental position that they have. You imbibe that, and you're going to do the same. Interact, interact, interact. Everything begins with interaction. So you could interact with them via their materials, their written materials, which could be books, their spoken materials, or their recorded tapes or something like that. Just go all out to interact with people who have the understanding that you're looking for to get the results that you desire. When you interact, what happens is that you become aware. Interaction leads to awareness. Awareness now leads to the desire or the impression in your heart to want to gain, to want to do the actions or take the steps that lead you to gain that understanding. So it begins with interaction, then you gain the awareness. You start seeing the value of that particular understanding. You start knowing how and why gaining that understanding is important to you. And before you know, you are motivated to be on the track of taking the actions. For instance, there's work to gain understanding. There's the action part to gain understanding, like actions like thinking, critical reasoning, questioning stuff, right? Actions like learning, actions like deep studying, actions like researching, expression of curiosity. These are work that you can take for you to tap into to tap into an understanding that you need to achieve the results that you want, to be in the position of life that you want, to play the role in life that you want, to turn to choose a turn in the polar road of life. It takes understanding, and understanding begins with interaction. Then you get the awareness, then you get the pursuit, then you get the result, which is understanding. So you gain understanding by being mindful, you gain understanding by learning. But of course, you will not be mindful of anything until you start desiring it. That's why you need to interact. Go all out. Don't just jealous, or not, let me not use the word jealous. Don't just admire. Seek the understanding. When you see somebody achieving something you desire to achieve, you've never achieved, don't stop at wow. Don't stop at admiration. Don't stop at honor. It's good to give honor to whom honor is due, but understand that the reason he's able to do that is because he has a particular understanding that you lack. Go for, therefore, to seek the understanding. Be desirous. Let that whatever fascinates you, let it make you seek the understanding. So when you're fascinated by particular concept, you will pay attention to it, to understand it, to comprehend its properties, how it works, its purpose, its principles and processes, and then and only then will you gain understanding of that stuff. So guys, this is the end of this particular concept and message that has been in my heart to bring to you. I hope that you're able to understand that why you are where you are and where you are in life, that's your own choice, right? That if life is a drama, God is a script writer, but we choose the roles that we play, and finally we play the roles. We choose the position that we stand. Now, I want to use this opportunity to talk to you about a particular event that we organize in the Studentship with COVID conference. It's beginning tomorrow evening. Now, the motivation and the reason for this COVID is that a lot of students lack understanding as concerning the COVID season, as concerning what is happening with COVID. And there again, the polar roles in life comes to play. So you have students who are losing out in all the opportunities that it brings. And then you have, on the other hand, students who are gaining. You have students who are maximizing the moment. You have students who are doing right with what is. And of course, just like you normally have, you have students who are oblivious of the fact that of what is happening at all. They don't even have understanding at all. And I've challenged you not to be among those. Don't be among those that things are just happening. They are not aware. They're not even aware, let alone to pursue it. Be among those who are awake. Be among those who are upstarts to pursue understanding, to pursue clarity about what's going on. And that's why we have this event beginning tomorrow, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. We have a whole value those load of speakers to bring you clarity, understanding, to be able to navigate this period, know what's going on, get the best of it. Don't be among those who just sit back and I don't care. It's an online conference, so it's not a comedy show. So why should I bother? Be among those who jump on this bandwagon and cash in on the moment. For you to register, the link is here also on the screen, and I'm going to post it on the comment section too. Join in these guys and let us be among those that thrive with COVID. This is the learner here, and I'm signing out. See you when we see again. Now, whatever you do, do not stop learning, do not stop thinking, do not stop seeking understanding, and do not stop dominating. I'll see you guys next time.